A single gunshot, a death shrouded in mystery. This was the end of Adolf Hitler, a man who held the world in his iron grip. It was the 30th day of April in the year 1945, beneath the war-torn streets of Berlin, in a fortified bunker, that the infamous Führer met his end. Yet, the exact circumstances of his death remain shrouded in uncertainty. No body was ever definitively identified, and the lack of a concrete physical proof has fueled speculation and conspiracy theories for decades. Was it suicide, or was it a carefully orchestrated escape plan? Did he die in that bunker, or did he live out his days in obscurity somewhere else? These questions have intrigued historians and enthusiasts alike, spawning countless books, documentaries, and debates. But what were the events leading up to this fateful day? Let's delve into the depths of history. As the Allies closed in, Hitler's world grew smaller and smaller, confined to the walls of his bunker. Picture a man once feared by millions, now trapped like a rat in the ground. The walls closing in, the world as he knew it, crumbling around him. In the final days of April 1945, Hitler's health was failing him. Age, stress, and possibly Parkinson's disease had left him frail and trembling. His once powerful voice reduced to a whisper, his gaze hollow, a stark contrast to the fiery orator who had once held audiences captive with his speeches. Meanwhile, his once invincible military machine was in shambles. The mighty Wehrmacht, which had swept across Europe, was now being pushed back on all fronts. The Soviet Red Army was at the gates of Berlin, and the Western Allies were advancing from the other side. Hitler's 1,000-year Reich was on the brink of collapse after just 12 years. The dissent within his ranks grew louder with every passing day. His generals, once loyal to a fault, were now questioning his decisions, doubting his leadership, and even plotting against him. The Führer, once revered, was now isolated and mistrusted. In the midst of this chaos, Hitler married his longtime mistress, Eva Braun. A simple ceremony conducted in the bunker, a world away from the grandeur that Hitler had once envisioned for himself. Their marriage was a fleeting moment of personal joy in a sea of professional despair. But even in his final moments, Hitler remained steadfast in his resolve. He would not be captured. He would not be paraded through the streets like a trophy. He would not give his enemies the satisfaction. He and Eva decided to die together, their lives intertwined in death as they had been in life. And so, with the end in sight, Hitler made his final decision, not to be captured, but to control his own fate. His final act of defiance, a decision to meet death on his own terms, a chilling end to a man who had once held the world in the palm of his hand. The 30th of April 1945, a day that would mark the end of one of history's most infamous figures. Yes, on this day, cloistered within the concrete depths of his bunker, Adolf Hitler chose to end his life. A final act of control in a world spiraling beyond his grasp. His aides discovered his lifeless body alongside that of Eva Braun, his wife of just one day. An eerie silence filled the bunker as the reality of Hitler's death began to sink in. Their orders were clear. Hitler's body, along with Braun's, was to be cremated, leaving no trace behind. As the flames consumed their mortal remains, it was as if an era of terror was being reduced to ashes. However, the tale doesn't end there. The Soviets launched an exhaustive investigation into Hitler's death. They combed through the bunker, interrogated survivors, and sought to piece together the final moments of the Führer. Yet the lack of a body and the secrecy shrouding his death only served to fuel speculation. In the absence of concrete evidence, numerous conspiracy theories sprouted, each more outlandish than the last. Was Hitler dead? Or had he somehow managed to cheat death and escape? While the world celebrated the end of the war, the mystery surrounding Hitler's death only deepened. Hitler's death marked the end of World War II, yet his legacy continues to haunt us. The controversy surrounding his demise, the harrowing account of his final days, and the profound impact his death had, all combined to form a narrative that has left an indelible mark on history. His death brought relief, yet it also left a vacuum that echoed with the horror of his reign. Hitler's death remains a subject of intrigue, a chilling reminder of a man who once held the world at his mercy.